Alright, YouTube, as before, the heat wave that was supposed to go away didn't, yet again, for like the third day in a row. So I'm just going to make my videos out here for the time being. It's going to drag on and on. It's like the hottest August I've ever witnessed. Right now, though, there's a huge amount of news related to Hillary Clinton, almost enough to push, oh, Trump is talking about Second Amendment people out of the front pages of the news around the country. And that is almost a half a dozen new Hillary Clinton scandals at the same time in only a few days. First, we learn, of course, more emails were released by Judicial Watch, specifically pertaining to the State Department under Hillary Clinton's tenure. And it looks like favors were traded in exchange for money and things like that. Essentially, the usual game played in D.C. Donors donate, then they get some sort of kickback, they get a referral, somebody gets a job, somebody gets a position as ambassador, or they get, something else in return. They get a couple hot tips about what's happening, the ins and outs of government. That one, while it's obviously unethical, it's obviously immoral, let's not fool ourselves and think that Hillary Clinton's State Department in doing that is any different from any other State Department incarnation, like the last 50 years or something. That one is not particularly compelling for me, I know. Yeah, again, unethical. Yeah, it doesn't make her look like an honest individual, but, it's DC. So that one, not quite as important, I think. Then we learn, however, this is sort of the big story right now. Right now, Clinton is under FBI investigation. Now, Comey more or less said this when he was speaking with Congress. He was asked, is there any ongoing investigation? Are there any other investigations underway into Clinton? When he had come out and said, oh, we're not going to press charges, we're not going to recommend charges from the DOJ, which was obvious, regarding her private server. And he declined to answer. He said, well, I'm not going to discuss that, which meant yes. It means that there are other investigations ongoing, because there's no reason in the world why he would have said he's not going to comment if the answer was simply no. That indicates the answer was yes, and we now have confirmation of that. But the FBI is being smart, of course. The Department of Justice, run by Loretta Lynch, run by Obama by default, because Loretta Lynch is his pawn, is never going to bring any form of charges against Hillary. If Comey had stood up in front of the nation and said, yes, she did something wrong, it was criminal, it's obviously criminal, we recommend charges, they still wouldn't have pressed them. And if they did press the case, they would turn it into a reverse kangaroo court, exonerate Hillary as quickly as possible, long before the election happened, in order to boost her numbers. That would be the plan. And then Comey would probably be fired, or he'd just disappear for a while, get a stern talking to, and he'd come back and say, oh, I take it back, I guess we were wrong, the State Department was right, or something like that. But there is an investigation ongoing, but it doesn't involve the DOJ. What it involves is New York State's own prosecuting system. That is, instead of doing it on the federal level, which is, it's a dead-in-the-water plan, because Loretta Lynch will just sit on it. If any investigations conducted, evidence will be hidden. They decided to go to the state level and go through the state's attorneys at New York to actually do this. Now, this may actually lead to a criminal case. I will say that. There was almost no chance that any of the prior investigation that went on was going to do that, because it was being handled at the federal level. If we imagine for a second, though, that Hillary's chops in New York State are less than her sort of circle of alliances in D.C., we could expect to see something come of this. I still give it less than a 50-50 chance. I still think the most likely outcome is that it drags on and on, is completely impeded, and goes nowhere, and or they quietly let go of it because they realize she's covered her trail well. But there's a possibility. The possibility is there. For the first time, there is an off chance, but a chance that something comes of it. So people who don't like Hillary Clinton, of course, they should be applauding this, but they should applaud it in a lukewarm fashion, because it's no guarantee that she won't get off scot-free with her crimes yet again. We then find out she releases her tax returns, obviously in an attempt to shame Trump into releasing his, which he's not going to do. He's been told by his attorneys, no, you shouldn't, you're under audit. That is ongoing. It seems like the audit probably is something that happens to him quite often, maybe as a form of harassment, and he just doesn't want to go into it too much because he really doesn't want to fight with the IRS at the same time that he's running a campaign for the presidency, which makes some degree of sense. We find out she's actually quite a charitable woman. You see, there's only one problem. She's a little bit like Mitt Romney. While she gave quite a chunk of change to charity, 95% of it, what charity did it go to? Went to the Clinton Foundation. See, that's a little bit of a problem. Mitt Romney did the same thing. He gave a great deal to charity. But where did the money actually go to? What charities? Most of it went to the Mormon Church, which people said, well, that's a religious body. It's not really a charity, so to speak. Most of the rest went to a company that his family had ties to. And the media at the time crucified him for this. They said, yeah, well, it's not really charitable giving. You're essentially giving it to people you're connected with and or a religion that is openly sort of supporting your campaign in a moral sense, if not actually declaring you the next Messiah on the pulpit. That's not a form of charitable giving. It's tit for tat. Clinton did the same thing. Most of the money, $1 million of the charitable giving involved, was given to the Clinton Foundation. And the Clinton Foundation doesn't even appear to have ever functioned actually as a charity. It appears that only its very core components ever were involved in any charitable work whatsoever, and that the rest was literally nothing more than a scam, a pay-to-play system, where people pumped money in, got favors back out, and that money was used to cover lucrative administrative costs. And then there's that. The Clinton Foundation itself is under an IRS investigation. Now, the FBI was squashed out of investigating it by the DOJ, just the same as the FBI was denied by Obama and Loretta Lynch the option of referring the email case to the DOJ. But the IRS is handling the Clinton Foundation. Again, though, do I expect that they'll find wrongdoing? No. Not because the IRS might not be unbiased enough to actually want to, because, trust me, they're in it for the money. They'll headhunt anyone as long as they can recover money, which means steal it most of the time. No, not because of that, but because Hillary Clinton is very, very adept at covering up her tracks. I would like to point out, while it appears another DNC staffer was killed recently in an explosion in D.C., this other story, I can't remember the name of the individual. Somebody is circulating a hoax right now that yet another individual, a seventh individual, has been killed by Clinton. It turns out that that person is actually still alive. So there is a hoax story circulating, but I can't remember their name. I'll try to dig it up. If not, you can look it up. Just look up Clinton deaths or something. People are tallying them as they go, because they're up to 6 people, really, in 6 months. I mean, in 6 weeks. That's a lot of people connected to sort of the DNC Clinton nexus to die under mysterious circumstances. Seth Rich is only one of them in a fairly short period of time. If it was anybody else, including most politicians, if a bunch of people connected with them started dying, somebody would be investigating that, because it'd begin to look like a mafia hit job. Well, yeah, of course the Clintons are in bed with that too. Not the Italian mafia, probably. They're more the Jack Kennedy crowd. I can't imagine they're too happy about Hillary. Oh, I'll invoke RFK's assassination, Clinton. I don't think they would work with her for any sum. Maybe the Russian mafia. Maybe they're the ones doing the job for Hillary. Everyone knows who's actually in bed with Russian interests through Uranium One from the Clinton Foundation. It's not Trump. It's Hillary. But she's having a bad time right now. If you think the last couple of weeks were hard on Trump, and admittedly, at times they were, I think the next couple of weeks are going to be really hard on Hillary. Now, people are talking about October surprise. Oh, October surprise this, October surprise that. If I had to guess, I'd say perhaps Krauthammer is adept at analyzing this and appears to understand that there's a fairly good likelihood right now that for whatever reason, whoever is hacking the DNC and all these groups, and Guccifer 2.0 just actually released an entire list of like the cell phone numbers of all the Democrats in Congress, and everyone's gone apeshit over that too. So there's another leak you can chalk up to this sort of group of adept individuals going after the Democratic Party. I think the highest likelihood, if anything surprising happens during this election, will be more leaks involving Clinton. I think intelligent, rational people who have an idea of strategy save the worst for last. If they're actually going after a campaign, a business, or whatever, They'll leak a little bit at first. It'll be the mundane stuff, get people's interest on the topic, and then it gets steadily worse. Snowden did this. You remember with the NSA leaks, he only released a fairly small proportion at first. Obama came out, addressed it, and then every time he said something that was false, Snowden would do another leak contradicting what Obama had said. He did this 5 times in a row. He did it to Clapper, he did it to Pelosi, he did it to Obama. By the way, when people say, oh, Assange just hates the Democrats, he's a Russian agent or a Trump shill or something, the Democrats are the party currently in power. That's why they are being targeted more. Additionally, there's a little bit of a complication going after Trump. Trump has not been in a government position. There are no government emails sent by Trump. He's never been a governor. He's never been a senator or anything. This just goes to show what I said years ago when Snowden first emerged on the set. Government is inept at protecting their servers. Government is inept at protecting their emails. Private individuals and private businesses do a lot better. They're not strangulated by bureaucracy and overlapping levels of crap that prevent them from actually properly protecting these systems. When you get intelligence services in bed with politicians anyway, the same tools that they use to spy on you and me and grab up all of our metadata and text messages and stuff, which, you know, fuck them, because Congress won't do anything about it. Those same tools, the Chinese have them. They probably obtained them long before Snowden leaked anything. The Russians probably have access. Private political individuals probably have all sorts of black hat hackers who have already gained control of parts of these systems. So Trump is kind of immune to this. All of his stuff is going through private channels, not government channels. The government's the one that apparently can't safeguard its information. This at the same time we find the Pentagon's lost trillions more dollars and doesn't know where it went. We can't account for it. And then you have one final funny thing. Now this, some people are reading a little bit too much into it. Apparently, Scott Adams, from Dilbert fame, of course, you know, he's been analyzing politics fairly accurately as well. He's doing a good job, much better than, say, Sabato or Nate Silver or something like that. It's actually very funny because he's not a political scientist. He's got like Nate Silver doesn't know what he's doing. Scott Adams is sitting there laughing as he's probably beating off to some of this coverage because it's just too funny not to. He's he points out earlier the Clinton team apparently at the debates. You know how usually in the first couple of debates, not the town hall, usually there are 2 sort of standard debates with the moderators. Then they have a town hall. And at the town hall debates, they sit down for most of the time. They might stand up when they're answering a question. At the more formal style of debates, though, typically the candidates stand behind a podium. The Hillary team doesn't want that. They want them to be seated all of the time. Now, why do you think this is? Do you think it has to do with, A, Hillary Clinton is really, really sick and can't stand easily for long periods? I think that's true. B, she's significantly shorter than Trump, and typically, in the view of the public, you may not even realize that you're doing this. When you see a person who's much more tall and imposing speaking, and somebody who's more diminutive, unless the person who is more diminutive happens to have far better speaking skills, typically they're outclassed. If they're speaking on the same level and saying more or less the same thing, you know, they're both using the same illogical sort of reasoning and stuff. Generally, the person who's more imposing is going to be rated higher because they have more of a stage presence. Trump is, I think, a good 5 or 6 inches taller than Hillary Clinton. I think that's the other reason. This was a problem back with W and Al Gore, actually. People spoke about it at the time when it looked like it was going to be close. Maybe not 300 or 400 votes close, but close anyway. Like, oh, maybe Gore has the advantage because, you know, he's taller and traditionally the taller candidate has an advantage. That is true. It is. Just like apparently wearing a red tie gives you a slight advantage. Trump, you know, as the Republican, is the one more likely to do that. Hillary doesn't wear a tie. She just wears like a North Korea-style full-on bodysuit that makes her look like literally a communist dictator. It doesn't help her public image, by the way. But I think it has more to do, I don't think it really has to do with height, because she's all about, well, strong woman this, strong woman that. They don't need no man, don't need no height, don't need no ethics, you know, to govern the country. I think it has more to do with the fact that if she actually has to stand there and answer questions, and potentially get debated towards directly by Trump for several hours, she may very well have a seizure or pass out. I do believe that that is the case. In fact, I think there's a chance we will see that on live TV. I don't think people want to count that as likely, but it's possible. And if it happens, I mean, her political career's over at the same exact moment, because it'll be proof positive. Yeah, this person, you're going to be left with her VP is the person who's actually the president. Might be a little bit of a problem, because most people don't know who the fuck Tim Kaine is. It'd be like if Trump was, like, old and sickly. A lot of people who are supporting him wouldn't, because they can't imagine Mike Pence in that situation. Now, given, of course, both of these people are fucking geriatric. You gotta realize they're about the same age. The only difference is Trump, he fucking jogs around the stage and rants and throws his arms in circles. And he looks like somebody who, it looks like he's one part drunk and one part on meth or something. Whereas Clinton, she's literally low energy by comparison, which is true. But all these investigations and reports and leaks, they just keep mounting up into a fucking mountain. And what eventually is going to happen is Hillary and her fans have to hold that mountain up above their heads for everybody to see. If it gets much bigger, it will come crashing down on their heads, and her ship of campaign / would-be ship of state will start to take on a little bit of water. And it's at that point, if WikiLeaks weighs in again, if they do have Clinton's own emails from within the campaign, or if they have something particularly juicy from anywhere else, or if Guccifer has it, or if Edward Snowden has something, it will destroy her campaign. In other words, my prediction from before may very well continue to be true, which is, I believe that it is likely, it's not certain, but it's likely that Trump has a general understanding of what some of this material may be, because he's been in bed with the Clintons for several decades, because he knows how corrupt she is, and because he knows what kind of mistakes she would likely make. He may have been in some way personally involved with harvesting this data, and he knows the general content of it. That's what I believe. I don't think that WikiLeaks has any ties to Russia. I think that when they realized how corrupt Clinton was, they probably did tell Trump, because it would only make sense to do that. Give him a heads up, because they want to keep somebody who is quite clearly unqualified for the office out of the office of the presidency. Which is a service. I mean, if that's what they're doing, then Trump and Assange and these people are doing a service to the whole country. They should be given medals of honor for it. But at the same time, I can't prove that. And even if it's true, you're not even going to hear about it after the election. Like, if it goes off without a hitch, Trump is elected or something, they're not going to tell you about this. Maybe 50 years later, it's declassified. Like, Barron Trump, he's an old man. He says, oh, yeah, my dad was in bed with WikiLeaks. We had to stop her somehow. Look at how fucking corrupt she was. And by then, of course, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton will both be skeletons. They'd be like, what, 120 or something? So, yeah, just a sort of a news wrap-up. I wanted to make, like, individual topics for some of these things. It's just impossible. There's so many scandals going on at the same time involving Hillary. It's like, how can she even save face and appear in public at this point? Who can possibly misconstrue her as being the least bit honest? You can call Trump crazy if you want to, but with Hillary Clinton, everyone who doesn't like her already sees her as crazy anyway, but even her fans, you have to admit, there's some fishy shit going on under Hillary Clinton, is there not? Or is the cognitive dissonance that high that you can't even see this? In the interest of full disclosure, I'm voting for Gary Johnson, not for Donald Trump. But it's fairly clear at this point which of these candidates is capable of sending an email, making a tweet, without making a complete ass of themselves. And it's not entirely clear that Hillary Clinton has even the most rudimentary understanding of morality. So I'll say that much. That's about all. Peace out.